Hey guys, welcome back to another one. This is Crypto Elite, home to the #1 Theta community. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe to the channel. And you can find me on Theta TV as well. All right, guys, this video is going to be a follow-up video, a much welcome follow-up video to some of my previous videos on the Sony spatial reality display. And this is something that Mitch Liu, the CEO of Theta, actually brought me onto with this tweet over here that he posted a couple hours ago. It's, in case you missed it, our case study with Sony Electronics on the Sony spatial reality display to launch Web3 Metaverse NFTs in 3D. And there's the link. I'll show you, the document attached to this link here in a second. But if you're unfamiliar with the spatial reality display, just in a nutshell, this is something that allows us as consumers to view, virtual reality in 3D, but you don't have to wear those 3D goggles. So like the Oculus, the Apple VR headset, Sony has a headset out there. All of those, that is the first generation that allows us consumers to be able to, view things in 3D. And it is very awesome. I do like the technology. I love where it's going. But this is, that next generation that allows us to view things in all three dimensions. But we don't have to wear those goggles. We don't have to, put that on. I know they're heavy. They're making them lighter and lighter, and there's all sorts of other technology behind them. But if we could just remove those goggles, that would be the next step in the right direction. And that is what Sony has come out with this spatial reality display. So that is, if you're unfamiliar with it, what the spatial reality display is. And there was a bunch of case studies, and I was actually very unfamiliar with this, so it was actually pretty welcome to read. And here are some of the case studies that were attached before, releasing the spatial reality display. So there is Tate McRae to dance into new dimensions. So this was one of the case studies that allowed, just showed how immersive, the technology was. There is also SmileFi, helps dentists and patients visualize outcomes with the spatial reality display. And I think that's really cool. I think there is a huge medical implication behind this technology. And even, if it doesn't take off anywhere else, I think the medical practice, at very least, between dentists, surgeons, there's a bunch of different fields out there that could or would love to, see things in three dimensions without having to put those goggles on. There's also architects, as you can see here. They also were able to view different, mock-ups without having to wear 3D goggles, which is great. And then cognitive heart defects. So there's a bunch of different case studies out there. And the Sony Web3 and Theta Labs is just one of them. So this is another case study how they implemented, this 3D technology with NFTs, and it's kind of bringing it into that whole Web3 and Metaverse concept. So we will dig into that case study, which is right here. Sony Electronics Inc. and Theta Labs launch Web3 Metaverse NFTs in 3D viewable on Sony's spatial reality display. So as we know, this NFT drop is being postponed. It will still be released here soon. We're waiting on that one. But this was one of the case studies that, brought about the introduction to it. So the challenge is to help drive the emergence of 3D Web3 Metaverse and excite the Theta Lab user base with an entirely new way to showcase NFTs, which I think you can check that box. Make sure the NFT drop does roll out, but you can definitely check that box. And then better visualization of the NFT on Sony spatial reality display. The solution, to offer limited edition NFT bundles on Theta Drop NFT marketplace, bundle exclusive digital 3D assets with Sony's spatial reality display, and then the outcome would be that next generation of Web3 experience for NFT owners. And then it points the way forward because there's a lot of people, like I kind of alluded to before, do we make those goggles lighter? Do we take the cables out of them? Like, what is that next way forward for this virtual reality technology? And I think this is it. The beginning of the case study just kind of talks about the partnership between Theta and Sony. So they talk about, imagine displaying an NFT holographic 3D in your home, the concept behind it. And there's still early adopters in that phase for NFTs, especially for the spatial reality display. So it all began with esports and VR. If you're unfamiliar with Theta, that is, the bread and butter. This is the core of it. And it all started with the Theta and Samsung VR a long time ago. They were able to be part of this competition, and they did a great job of live streaming in 3D VR. And this was the beginning, and they used a bunch of different patents to prove their technology. So this is back when it was still sliver TV. And they've come a long way since then. So that's where it all began. And now they have over 130,000 edge nodes working, which is great, because before in, this arena, this is something that it was very small, but now this could be a global thing. So from streaming VR to experiencing Sony spatial reality display, as a company, we've spent years in the VR space. As we've seen, we've learned to design experiences in such a way that you don't get dizzy and uncomfortable. When we place virtual cameras inside game worlds, they were from a stable perspective. So we set a fixed pivot point that the user could rotate around. So now fast forward to the spatial reality display, and it's mind-boggling. So this thing is floating in air, which is so awesome. You can see everything in different angles. It's wonderful. So even from a foot away, it's very, very clear, and no headset is required. So that is the best thing. So the last thing I kind of wanted to talk to you is into the future of Metaverse and Web3. So having come from a VR background, we know what the Metaverse is not a new idea. That's from Mitch Liu, but it's now gaining significant traction. So much is moving in the virtual world with huge potential for 3D. NFTs are just a starting point. We can do this with Web3 by creating 3D avatars with digital collectibles, and it represents a way for users to view themselves and have huge meaning for them. And we can see this. Sony is also doing the same thing with one of my previous videos, from Walkman to the Metaverse. Sony arrives in Web3, and it just kind of talks how they have now solidified their steps forward going into Web3. So just finishing up this case study over here, the spatial reality display and Unity rendering. So Sony's spatial reality display enables viewers to see volumetric 3D without special glasses or VR goggles. In the case of Sony NFT, the display works from computer-generated images using a Windows PC running graphics software. And it is very precise. It looks at your eyes and kind of works from there. Forward and back. So the result is an overpowering sensation of a solid 3D object. So in summary, guys, I just wanted to show you, I thought this was really neat. This is the case study for Web3 and NFTs, and there's a bunch of other case studies out there to show you that this technology is here to stay, and it is the next generation of 3D VR technology. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one.